Go on, hold out your hand for a second. Right now, billions of invisible, ghost-like particles are shooting straight through your palm. They just passed through the floor and are now zipping out the other side of the Earth. You didn't feel a thing, and you never will. Welcome to the greatest ghost story in the history of science.
Okay, let's just dive right in because this is where things get absolutely nuts. Every star, every planet, every single person you have ever met, all of it adds up to barely 5% of reality. The other 95%, it's completely missing, it's invisible, it's unknown, and we're gonna figure out what it is. So, to wrap our heads around this cosmic secret, we're not gonna need a super powerful telescope. Nope, we just need to go to a park. This is where this whole bizarre story, well, it actually starts to make sense.
All right, so picture this with me. You're just sitting on a park bench, minding your own business, and you see this guy across the grass. But then you notice something. Something's off.
He's holding on to this thick leather leash, and man, it is stretched tight. The guy is straining, sweating, digging his heels into the ground. He's being literally dragged around in a circle by some kind of incredible force. And here's the kicker. There's no dog. The leash is just attached to thin air. So what do you think is going on? I mean, really, you've only got two choices here.
Now, what's so cool about this is the logic. What's the more rational explanation here? Choice 1. The fundamental laws of physics have just decided to take a coffee break, and this man is defying gravity for no reason. Or choice 2. There is a very powerful, very real, invisible dog on the end of that leash. As a rational person, you'd bet on the invisible dog every single time. It's the only thing that makes any sense.
And that little story, that invisible dog, that is a perfect, brilliant illustration of what the astronomer Vera Rubin saw back in the 1970s. She was looking out at the Andromeda galaxy, and she saw the cosmic version of that man being yanked around by nothing.
And here's the heart of the problem, right? Stars way out on the edge of a galaxy, they should be moving pretty slowly. I mean, if they spin too fast, there just isn't enough gravity from all the visible stuff to hold onto them. They should just, fly off into deep space. But what Rubin saw, she saw them spinning at these terrifying, absolutely impossible speeds, and yet they weren't flying away. Something invisible was holding the leash. Something with an incredible amount of gravity was keeping the whole galaxy from ripping itself to shreds.
Okay, so the anomaly was undeniable. There was some invisible force out there. Now the investigation begins. How on earth do you find proof of something you literally cannot see?
This was the big question, the huge challenge. If this dark matter stuff is completely transparent, if it doesn't interact with light at all, how do you even start to look for it? Scientists had to get really, really clever. They needed a way to see the invisible.
So, how'd they pull it off? Well, they used gravity itself like a cosmic magnifying glass. See, Einstein told us that really massive objects literally bend and warp the fabric of space-time. So if a beam of light from a super distant galaxy happens to pass by a huge invisible clump of this dark matter, that light gets bent by the warped space. And to us, way back here on Earth, that galaxy behind it looks all stretched out and distorted.
And guess what? That is exactly what they found. All over the universe, they saw light from distant galaxies getting warped by absolutely nothing visible. By measuring exactly how much that light was bending, they could figure out the precise weight and even the shape of the invisible thing doing the bending. They were literally mapping the ghost's shadow.
But just mapping a shadow? That wasn't quite enough. There were still skeptics saying, maybe your math is just wrong. Maybe you just don't understand gravity. They needed a smoking gun, irrefutable proof that this ghost was a real physical thing. And boy, did they get it, from a cosmic catastrophe of epic proportions.
This is the bullet cluster. This is what happens when two gigantic galaxy clusters slam into each other at millions of miles per hour. Now the normal matter, all the hot gas, it's like colliding ships. It all just smashes together and grinds to a halt right in the middle. But the dark matter, the theory was that it would act more like the wind. It should just pass right through the crash site, completely untouched.
So astronomers took a picture, and what they saw was just stunning. The visible wreckage, the hot gas, was right there in the center of the collision, exactly where they thought it would be. But then they used gravitational lensing to find where all the mass was, and it wasn't there. The mass was way out on the sides, having passed clean through the crash. This was it, the ultimate proof. The normal matter and the dark matter had been physically separated. This wasn't some strange property of gravity. It was a real, separate substance that had ghosted right through one of the most violent events in the universe. The case was closed.
All right, so we know the ghost is real. We know it's a physical thing that makes up most of the universe. The question now is, what is it? Welcome to the Cosmic Police lineup. Okay, we've got 3 prime suspects. First up, WIMPs. Check out their MO. Heavy, silent monks ignoring light. These are supposedly massive particles that just don't want to be bothered. Then you've got axions, which are described as an invisible, frictionless fluid, super lightweight particles that fill all of space. And finally, some think it might be trillions of ancient, microscopic primordial black holes forged in the fire of the Big Bang. And the hunt is definitely on. Right now, deep underground in old gold mines, scientists are building these massive, incredibly sensitive detectors. They're basically setting traps just waiting and hoping for a single one of these ghost particles to finally bump into a normal atom and give the game away. But while we're all busy hunting for this cosmic culprit, astronomers have uncovered one last incredible twist to this story. It turns out, this ghost we've been chasing, it isn't some strange anomaly. It's the very reason we're here to talk about it at all.
So here's how it all went down. Way back in the beginning, the universe was just this smooth, kind of boring soup of hot gas. And honestly, if left to its own devices, it would have just stayed that way. But the dark matter, because it doesn't interact with light, it clumped together first. It created these massive, invisible wells of gravity. Think of them like cosmic sinkholes. All the normal matter then got pulled into these sinkholes, it got super dense, and then boom, the first stars and galaxies ignited inside this invisible dark matter scaffolding.
And this is the part that just blows my mind. Without that invisible scaffolding of dark matter, the universe would still be a cold, dark, and totally empty place. Stars would have never formed, planets would have never formed, the very atoms that make you would not exist. It just completely flips our entire perspective, doesn't it? For all of human history, we looked up at the night sky and thought all those bright, shiny lights were the main event. But now we know the truth. This quote just says it perfectly. We are just the luminous foam on the surface of a deep, dark, invisible ocean.
So the ghost we've been chasing is real. And it's not some monster lurking in the shadows. It's the architect that built our home. It's the silent, invisible force that made our existence possible. And that leaves us with one final, really thrilling question. If we've been completely missing this for all of human history, what else is hiding out there in the dark?